Yo, what up? It's me, Andy. I'm back here. It's been a long time since I made a video, but I'm gonna show you guys what's been going on with the car and the other car, and everything that's been up that I've been up to. So I got the car pretty dialed and ready, and I had a hard time finding a tuner. I went through remote tuning, which it was working out, but it was a lot of work for me and my busy schedule. So I had to find someone else locally, and that was kind of a hassle here in Vegas. But I finally found someone, and we got her tuned. It made actually, I'm gonna cut that out, and you guys will see the run. And I'll probably put a picture with the dyno sheet. Anyways, let me fill you guys in on what's new. So not much new in the engine bay. When we did the tuning, I couldn't get the Ford idle air controller to work. I mean, it was working, but it was doing some weird things. So we unplugged it and ran without it, and I mean, the car runs great, so no real issues. I did want it for drivability, but maybe we can retune the idle one day when I get another one, or I mean, I'm not sure. We'll see. If I need it, I'll get another one, but for now, it's rock solid. Another thing is we took off. There's usually this like flying saucer looking thing right here on the throttle body that when the throttle blade closes, it like dampens it, and that was being so crappy on the dyno and for tuning. Like, it would make the throttle stick and the car wouldn't decelerate. So the tuner just said, you don't need that shit, let's pull it off. And we did that. Oh, look at the pretty chase bays. I have the car up in the air right now because I was hooking up power steering yesterday, since I never actually did that. And now I got the chase base filled with fluid, and power steering works great. It's all going to a cooler up here that you can't see. It's a Koyo cooler. These nice AN wrenches. These are sweet. Another thing we had an issue with on the dyno, let me zoom in, see if you can see that. Well, I had a fuel leak, and I had never noticed this before because every time I drifted the car, I only put a little bit of gas, or I mean at least as much as I needed, maybe like 8 gallons, and never had an issue. I filled the tank up for tuning because you don't know how long you're going to be there, and it overfilled, and it was dumping out the top right there where the fuel pump and fuel sender mount to the tank. So I imagine there's a crack. I did my best at the dyno, but it was still kind of overflowing. So what I did is, in between every run, I asked the tuner, can we turn it off? And I will soak up all the gas and kind of keep an eye on it. It was a very slow leak, so we were able to get through tuning just fine. But everything was working great, honestly. I love the shifter. I kind of got to get used to it, since every gear is really tight and close together. You don't really want to be making mistakes while you're drifting. So the other car I've been kind of working on is Bert, aka the E36. So I pulled the JZ out of it because it overheated, and in the 4 years that I owned the car, it kind of always struggled here in Vegas to run cool, and there just wasn't much I could do because you can't fit a big radiator. The motor was already as far back as I could have it without like major fab work. So eventually it overheated on me, and I kept driving, and it kind of damaged the head gasket. No big deal, the motor's still good. The oil didn't even seep through, so I'll just fix that motor and probably rebuild it for the drift car, just as a spare. And I picked up this M52. It's a stock E36 motor. It's from a 328, so it's the 2.8 liter. And I'm gonna basically drop some cams in it, the S52 cams, if not something better, and put it back together. It's a low mileage motor, only like 100,000 miles, so it's very clean, but that'll be going in there. And what I'm most excited about is wiring. If you don't know, E28s use these bullet fuses. If this camera could focus. And so the way they make contact is basically a little festoon type fit, and they come loose. The E28 guys, what they tell you to do is run an O-ring basically to keep them tight, and that is the shittiest thing I have ever heard of. I don't like things that are designed poorly. I don't like it, and I come from the computer world where wiring is important and electronics are important, so I decided, alright, let's finally ditch all of that. I'll redo the whole car's wiring, and I went with painless wiring, and I got like a 25 circuit kit, which their stuff is pre-made. I could have made my own, but I figured let's save time, save the headache, and just go with something pre-made since I'm not doing anything crazy with this car. So that's where that's at. The other plans are to work on Spencer's 240. He's got an S13 hatch. We just want to kind of get it together. He bought it about a year ago, I think, maybe longer, and it's got a single cam, and we just kind of want to get it ready to go for drift events, and just as a seat time car, you know, nothing crazy to it. Get it ready to go, you know, like bushings, and we already got one seat in it. We're gonna do the rest. My goal and kind of obligation is that I will record almost everything we do to that car, so there should be plenty of content. And since I'll be bringing parts over to him, you know, I'll be available to do that. Anyways, guys, that's all I got for today. Drop a like and a sub if you haven't already, and see you next time. Thanks.